The final event is right around the corner, which means the battle with the Dark Presence is almost upon us. To find its weak spots, I've prepared absolutely everything, including something that no Fortniter saw coming. Over the last few weeks, the internet has been absolutely flooded with Chapter 7 teasers, and they all point to the biggest changes Fortnite has seen in ages. This whole Dark Presence showing up and us being yanked into Springfield? That's most likely just the appetizer. The chain reaction has been set in motion, and things are about to get way more interesting. Then, just a couple of days after the event, on November 3rd, a bunch of Fortnite content creators got a cryptic message with some seriously big secrets. The final event of the entire chapter is slated for November 29th, and its name is 0 Hour. If my hunch is right, we're staring down events that could change Fortnite forever. It's kind of like that Overwatch 2 0 Hour cinematic short. It completely rewrote the timeline, and everything just started playing out differently. Fortnite has totally been down this road before. Our own 0 Hour was essentially the Big Bang event that, crudely put, changed the island's history by starting with a clean slate. But right now, our current reality feels like a hot mess. We've got a ton of plot holes, old characters popping up and then disappearing, shady villains and the like. A soft reboot isn't just possible, it's needed like yesterday, especially with the Dark Presence lurking over everything. The phrase Fortnite After Dark is most likely the subtitle for Chapter 7. And if we remember who we're supposed to be fighting at the final event on the 29th, the word dark is a major hint at the Dark Presence. I've got two theories here. Either we beat the Dark Presence and use a 0-point shot to reset everything, or Jonesy and Hope get walloped, and Chapter 7 drops us into a warped reality created by the Dark Presence. And that's not even close to the whole story. The biggest signal that 0 Hour is going to be a massive deal in Fortnite's history is the return of the Seven. After all these clues and teasers, not believing in their comeback is absolutely bonkers. I'm not saying the Seven will be there on day 1 of the new chapter, though maybe they'll show up during the event's big finale. But we've gotten more major hints about their return in the last week than in the last few years combined. You just can't scribble it off as crazy talk anymore. What's even wilder is that this all perfectly aligns with my theory that after 0 Hour, reality is either getting rewritten or we're jumping to some different place where events played out completely differently. 2 years have passed since the Big Bang, and we still don't know the full scope of Jones and Sloane's plan, what happened to the Reality Zero after they fixed the timeline, or, most importantly, the fate of Sloane and the Seven after the 0 point exploded. That's been the main mystery all this time. When we landed on the Chapter 5 island, we got zero clues about where we were or what we left behind. For the longest time, we thought the thread connecting the old and new Fortnite was cut, but now there's a glimmer of hope that the subtle connection is still there and close by. If I could pull a Doctor Strange on this, I'd say Epic finally has a shot out of a million future scenarios to bring everything back to normal. The Dark Presence might be such a huge threat that the only way to save everything is to start fresh, create a new world untouched by the darkness, and the key to that could be our memories. We've had a throwback moment in Fortnite's history where we had to rebuild the whole island from scratch. The last Reality's army, led by the Herald, nearly wiped out our dimension. But Paradigm and Amy's plan to save the 0 point stopped it. The Zero Fusion launched by Paradigm was able to restore the island, and it worked because we remembered everything. Every battle, every moment. The rocket launch, the mecha monster fight, the cube, the battle with the Cube Queen, defeating the I.O. It all became part of one massive consciousness, in the memory of the 0 point itself. During the Fracture event, we didn't just collect 0 point energy, we powered it with our memories, which showed up as flashbacks. It became clear then that the 0 point is a living entity that remembers everything that happened to it, and we managed to restore its memory, leading to the rebirth of the Zero reality. But even that power couldn't put everything back to how it was. After the fusion, Paradigm disappeared, and Amy couldn't find the Seven. She did catch their signal, but they weren't the Seven we knew. They were a horrible, nasty, and evil version of the island's former heroes. But what if we now have a chance to fix it all? To turn back time and launch a new Zero Fusion that creates a dimension based on our memories, but with fixes to account for past mistakes. Paradigm was just restoring the island, but we need to save an entire multiverse So the Seven, the Last Reality, and the I.O. could all return to the storyline and kick off a brand new narrative. However, there's a darker path. I doubt we'll fully defeat the Dark Presence. The Supreme Demon is tricky, and I have a feeling he's got a sneaky trick stashed in his tentacles that he's absolutely going to use. What if he contaminates the 0-point shard at the last second, leaving a piece of himself inside it? The biggest shard is literally in his chest, so I doubt that kind of proximity will be without consequences. In that case, the remnants of darkness inside the 0-point will make themselves known during its resurrection, which is probably why the fusion process will get messed up. Or maybe this contamination is already happening in the past. Back at the butterfly event, when we were warped into the 0-point's pocket dimension, there was a red cube that wasn't in the original timeline. It looks like it already started changing the 0-point, because the lines directly underneath it were red. Maybe those lines are like reality itself, and the red cube is rewriting or even capturing them, which is 100% going to affect our future. Either way, the next few months are gonna be fire, hot as a sunny Los Angeles afternoon. Remember where the signal from Epic's teaser was coming from? Hollywood Hill is right in the heart of Los Angeles. Now, all the pieces are finally clicking together. First, we see cryptic coordinates leading right to Hollywood. Then, out of nowhere, Peely and his buddies show up in Los Angeles, supposedly just to root for the Dodgers. It seems random, but when one coincidence stacks up on another, it starts looking less like chance and more like a definite pattern. It doesn't stop there. Soon after, we see Peely again at the premiere of Stranger Things Season 5. Guess where that event went down? You got it, Los Angeles. If you put all this together, it paints a very interesting picture. Chapter 5's map was basically a mashup of Europe with its castles, fields, and quaint old towns, and Oninoshima was an obvious shout out to Japan with its culture, samurais, and ancient legends. Now, everything is pointing to the Chapter 7 island being based on US culture. This fits perfectly with the Gala Party theme that was leaked months ago. For those who don't get it, a Gala Party is a swanky, over-the-top event with tons of stars, cameras, sparkle, and all the glamour. Doesn't that fit Los Angeles like a glove? For now, we only know a few features coming at the start of the chapter. One is an upgraded train that will look more like a city's tram network, and we might even be able to go inside. We also know about a new desert biome. It's totally possible that's where Area 51 will be located, as data miners have written. Some have hinted we'll get a legit city with glass buildings that keep the window-breaking feature from the current season. But the weirdest thing about the new season is a certain form. Data miners even spotted its visual look and some of its mechanics. Right now, all we know is that this form will react to a player's actions within its line of sight, like fighting, reviving a teammate, using emotes, and other kinds of activity. It's hitting all the key events. Honestly, I have no idea what this thing will be. It's a total enigma. Some sources are comparing the form to the cube, which was a very interactive PAL itself. Others are saying this strange little rock is a shout out to the Vegas Sphere, which often displays all sorts of emotions, pictures, and funny videos. Since Fortnite's version of the USA is what we're getting, why not roll out our own sphere? Though maybe we're all off base, and the form will turn out to be something else entirely. Drop your theories in the comments, but one thing's for sure, the news about Chapter 7 is going to ramp up every single day, and I have a feeling this video is just the tip of a massive iceberg coming straight for us. Overall, the end of November is shaping up to be absolutely packed with content. For the first time in a long time, I'm getting the old school Fortnite vibes, like we're just waiting for someone to drop something totally game-breaking, and it's honestly wild, considering that just 2 months ago, people were saying that is the end of Fortnite.